Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to replace the screen on this 2017 13-inch MacBook Air model A1466. Alright, so first thing we're going to use is a Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screwdriver. Alright, we're also going to need a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver and a T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver. Alright, I think that should be it. So let's go ahead and open this up. We're going to use the Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screwdriver. Alright, let's go ahead and remove all these screws. You want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like this. In the pattern I remove them, right? So you have this rectangular pattern. So let's go ahead and just remove all the screws and put them like that. The middle ones in the back here are longer than the rest. So if you did happen to somehow mix them up, keep that in mind. But again, it's always best to keep all the screws in order and put them back where you got them. Okay, so we'll set these aside. Let's go ahead and get all these screws out. If you haven't already, of course, you do want to shut your MacBook down completely. Make sure that it's not running and there's no power going to it. Okay, if this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue getting everything out. Alright, now that we got all those screws out, we're going to remove the bottom cover. Just go from the back here and pull it up. Alright, just like that. Usually it's going to be a bit dusty, as you can see. Excuse me. So this is the intake valve, so the air gets pulled in through here, the fan's here, and then it blows it back out, so it goes out that way. Alright, so anyways, I'm gonna clean the dust up real quick. I just use a toothbrush, kind of brush this stuff, and then after that I use a powerful electric air blower to blow all the dust away. It looks like there was even a spider egg sac in there. Oh man, you can see that. Okay, so I'm gonna clean this up and I'll be back. See you guys in a bit. Alright, I'm back. So we cleaned out the dust here. You can see it's a lot cleaner. Alright, there's some stuff that kind of doesn't come out, but there you go. Alright, set that aside. Okay, next thing we're going to do is switch over to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. We're going to remove the battery. You don't have to take the battery completely out, but we do have to just lift it up so that we can safely undo the connector there. Again, you want to keep all the screws in order. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove all those screws. We're taking out the screws because if you just yank this battery, the cable here doesn't have enough room to move and you can damage the cable. So you do want to actually lift the battery slightly, all right, to make sure that the cable won't get damaged. All right, so what we're gonna do after you remove all 5 screws, you're gonna lift up the back here slightly and you want to get your hand under and then kind of tilt your fingers up forward like this to kind of lift it. All right, slightly, just like that, and then grab this connector or the plastic tab here, and you kind of just wiggle this as you pull it side to side like this. All right, and there you go. We got the battery out, and the reason you want to lift it is because this cable here is like folded, and if you don't, you can actually catch the cable with the edge of this battery here, and then you can damage that cable. So you want to be very careful with that. All right, so let's go ahead now. I'm going to clean the dust off here into the trash can next to me, just using a toothbrush. Alright. Alright, so we cleaned it up a bit. We're going to set the battery aside now. Alright, if you want, you can also clean up underneath here. There's some hair stuck in here. Okay. Alright, good enough. Alright, so now that we got the battery removed, we're going to open up the computer and then we're going to press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds. This will drain any residual power and make it a lot safer to work on. I've had people ask me if they need to do that. There's never a need to do anything, but it makes it the risk of damaging the computer a lot less. It only takes 15 seconds, so why not? Alright. Okay, so let's go ahead and disconnect this. Let me see, I'm going to zoom in here. All right, so we're gonna disconnect the LCD LVDS connector here now. Get underneath. I use my fingernail underneath the corner edge of this. You can also try and get this little black plastic tab up to try and pull it, but I find this is easier. So I get my fingernail underneath. Oops, I cut my thumbnail too short, and then you can lift it up like this. All right, just like that. Then you can go ahead and grab this, and then pushing towards the bottom of this latch on both sides, then you can get the connector out just like that. Okay, and it just flips up like this. Okay, we're gonna now disconnect the wireless antennas. For that, you just go towards the tails and then just pull straight up, just like this. Same thing with the other one. All right, just like this. All right, if you don't have fingernails, you can use like little plastic tools or something. Okay, or tweezers, but this one is like too tight in there. So let me try with some tweezers here. Right, we're gonna go at the tail and just pull straight up. Wow, this one, there's not much slack, so it's not wanting to come out, but there we go. Okay, so now that we got that, we're gonna unroute this cable. So just pull it back here past those little notches, and then we're gonna just lift it out. Okay, just like this, going along, and just pulling this out, kind of wiggle this, and there we go. All right, and there we go. All right, so now that we've gotten to this point, we're gonna now have to get all of this stuff out. So let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit so I have more room to show this. All right, we are gonna go ahead and disconnect this cable. So this cable, again, I just use my fingernails under opposite corners like this and kind of wiggle to pull it up. Same thing with this side, wiggle and pull it up. There is an adhesive here. You are just going to peel that up. I try and keep the cable as flat as possible. I don't want to like crease it by bending it or curling it too much. And there we go. A lot of times this foam will actually tear where the adhesive holds to the fan. Don't worry about it. It doesn't really do anything. I think it's maybe there so Apple knows that you took it out or something. All right. Anyways, next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and undo the fan screws here. Okay, so there's 3 screws. Again, you want to keep all these screws in order. All right, get the 3 fan screws out. That one there, and this one down here. Okay. All right, now that we got those 3 screws out, we're going to go ahead and lift the fan slightly out of the way. If you want, you can take the fan out completely, but I guess some people will probably have more trouble with this cable, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyways. So usually I would use my fingernail and flip this little latch up, but let me see if I can use this tool to show you a little bit clearer. We'll zoom in. Okay, so basically what you're doing is you're flipping up this piece here, this latch. There you go, it flips up like that. Then you can grab underneath. You want to use your finger under to hold onto the bottom side of that cable. Then you can go ahead and wiggle and pull it back. So there you go, holding it like that. We'll set the fan aside. Okay, if you want, now you can actually even also brush the heatsink and clean the dust out a bit better. Okay. All right, so next thing we're gonna do, we need to disconnect this cable. Since we're replacing the screen, you don't need to worry too much if you damage this, but it's always good to try and keep everything intact. All right, we got one more screw over here that we need to undo, so we'll undo that screw. Okay, and once you've done that, you can actually lift this board slightly up, and that's so we can unroute this cable here. Okay, if this cable's in your way, you can also take that out, but usually you don't need to. But yeah, all right, so, well, let's go ahead and do it anyway. So we're gonna grab this cable as close as we can to the end of the connector, and then you kind of just wiggle it side to side like this, or up and down, I guess, whichever you want to call it. I call it side to side because it's going like this. Okay, and there we go. Now we lifted that out. Here you can see this cable here. You can kind of do the same thing here. This cable is a bit more fragile, so you want to be extra careful if you're reusing this screen. Kind of just wiggle it again side to side, and it should eventually pop out. Sorry, I know it's not a good angle view because my hand's in the way, but just grab that, keep wiggling, and there you go, it pops out. If you can't get it out that way, you can try with like some pliers, like needle nose pliers or something, to grab the ends of that and then wiggle and pull it. But yeah, this works best for me. All right, now that we got that, let's zoom out a bit. Okay, now you can actually hold this up slightly, and then you can kind of pull this cable out from underneath. It goes out of this notch, okay, and swings back up that way. All right, so next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna actually release the hinges. So let's go ahead and zoom out so you can see the edge of my desk. Okay, just like this. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna open up the screen about 90 degrees, okay? 90 degrees, if you don't know, is a right angle. It's about like a square edge like this, okay? So we're gonna hang that off the edge of my desk. We're gonna switch over to the T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver bit, and we're gonna remove the 3 screws from each hinge, okay? Again, you wanna keep all the screws in order. All right. Okay. 2 and 3. All right, we're gonna do the same on this side. I also like to add some red thread locker after I put these screws back to make sure that they hold in nice and tight and don't come loose. Okay. 2, 3. Okay, and you also want to hold the screen up so it doesn't just fall over. All right, so now that we got all 6 screws out, we're gonna lift this up. The antenna cable is gonna come out here. It has like a little metal thing. So you wanna kind of get that out from underneath this board. Okay, and then we can go ahead and lift this out. If it doesn't lift out, you can kind of open the screen a bit more than 90 degrees, and then you kind of just wiggle it around. Okay, so actually, I think it's better if you open the screen all the way, and then you can let the screen kind of wiggle back and forth to make it a little bit easier to get out. But there we go. All right, so here's the old screen. We're gonna now get the replacement screen. Okay, so it comes in shipped like this, though of course it depends on where you bought it from. It might vary. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut this packaging open right now. Okay. Okay, cut that side, and cut this side. And only cut 3 sides open. Okay, and then we can go ahead and open this up just like this. You can see it opens up, and we got the screen in here and this protective foam. All right, I don't know why it came with like little screen wipe things, like, okay, because once you use the screen, it's just gonna get dirty again anyways. Be careful with opening plastic stuff around the motherboard. You don't want the static to damage it. Okay, so we got this. All right, and then it comes in this blue wrap. We're going to take that out. Okay, there we go. And we're going to go ahead and grab the screen out of here and slide it out. Okay, perfect. They wrap all the connectors here to kind of keep it safe. This is an anti-static bag here that it's in. Okay, so we're going to peel that up. Man, they make this tough. Okay, so we have to un-Ziploc bag this. Okay, oh, they made a little pull tab to make this easier that you can flip it up. That's nice. Okay, and then this, we're gonna have to swing it over and open this baggie up. Be careful not to damage the cable in the process. There we go. All right, so we'll set that aside. They actually tell you here, be careful. They have all these little pull tabs. That's nice. Okay, so get this. You can go ahead and peel this back. So we got that. Okay, this one. Okay, this one they didn't make a pull tab, so it's more difficult to open this. There we go. All right, and we'll just slide the cables out. You want to be careful because there can be a little bit of adhesive on these cables sometimes. All right, there we go. Okay, so now that we got all the cables out, next thing we're going to do is open up the hinges completely. I use the T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver to go in here, and then I can use that to open up the hinge. You don't want to twist too hard because you don't want to break it, so make sure you go slowly, and then once you feel the hinge stop twisting, just stop there. Okay, So next thing we're going to do, again, we're going to hang this over the edge of the desk. You want to hold all these cables up, so I get my fingers underneath to hold them up like this. And then we're going to slowly, carefully drop that into place. There we go, just like that. Then make sure to hold the screen up. I use my legs to kind of hold it up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one screw at the further, or the most centermost spot. And we're not going to tighten this down all the way yet. And you'll see why soon. Basically, we want to make sure everything is aligned, okay? So now that we got those screws in loosely, we're going to slowly, carefully close the screen. So what I do is I use the back here on my desk and slowly, carefully close this. You do want to leave it a little bit loose. I don't know if you heard, like, it made a little click sound, so that means it's getting caught or hitting something. So we're going to slowly, carefully close this. Okay, just like that. And then you want to go around the edges, make sure everything is lined up right. Okay, make sure it's all centered. You want to try and get this to be flat, flush from the screen to the back, to the bottom case. Okay. That's the most important. All right, and then you can actually also see the gap here to see if it's lined up. Though this piece does slide around, so as long as you have the side edges here lined up properly and centered, you should be good. Okay. All right, now that that's good, we're gonna go ahead and tighten this down first, just to make sure it doesn't move around. Okay, and then we're gonna add the red thread locker here. Okay, this is what I use. All right, so we're gonna now grab a screw. We're just gonna put the outermost one here. Let's zoom in a bit so you guys can see. Okay, and you don't really need much of this stuff, so you just put like barely any. Okay, so we're gonna tilt this over and just a tiny bit, not even a full drop. I don't know if you can even see. Even this might be a little too much. There you can see it's only on one side. And then we're just gonna get this screw in and tighten that down. Okay. All right, so tighten that screw into place. Now we're gonna go to the other side here and we're gonna do the same thing. On this one, we can go ahead and put all 3 screws because we don't have to worry about the little antenna metal thing. Okay, so we're just gonna do the same. Get the screw in. All right, make sure it's nice and tight. And we're gonna do that with all the screws, okay? All right, just like that. Get that in. Good. Make sure it's nice and tight. Get this screw out, and then we're going to do the same thing. Okay. Alright. Alright, now that we got those 3 in, we're going to go on over back to this side. We're going to take this screw back out. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and get this metal piece back under there. Okay, so this curves over this way, and then that goes under the board and goes that way. So we're going to get the red thread locker again and just put a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to loosely fit this screw first. And we're going to get the second one, same thing, just a little. Okay, and we'll get that on. Alright, so now that we got both screws in, we can go ahead and tighten this down. Just like that. Good. Go the second one, same thing, tighten that down. Alright, there we go. So now we got all the hinge screws in. We can go ahead and put the T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver away. Actually, I'll use it to help put this cable in. Let's go ahead now and rotate this and reconnect the screen LCD cable. All right, you want to make sure you're putting this in the right way because this cable can twist upside down. So the way you know it's the right way is at the end here, you can actually see the individual gold pins. On the other side, it's just plastic with this gold sleeve. All right, so make sure the gold pins are facing up. All right, and oh no, this cable's short for some reason. Let's see here. Oh no, this cable is short. So I'm gonna have to call my customer and let them know. For some reason, this cable is not long enough and we're not gonna be able to install this screen. So we'll see. I'm gonna have to contact my customer, let them know. But basically, we plug this in, and then the rest, I guess I'll have to make a new video because this isn't gonna work. All right. So, anyways, I'll see you guys once I get the new screen. All right. Bye. All right. So I figured I might as well try something real quick because this thing is too short. Let me zoom out again. We're gonna take out the screen. And then when we have the screen out, we're going to see if we can actually pull the cable a little bit further out. Okay, so let's switch back to the T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver. Let's open the screen all the way. Okay. All right, so now that we got the screen open, we're going to take out all 6 screws again. Okay, so now that red thread locker is kind of wasted. All right. Okay, and hopefully the cable will be able to kind of lengthen itself. Otherwise, we're gonna have to redo it, wait for the replacement screen, which will take a couple days. And yeah. Okay, last one. All right. Okay, now that we've got all the screws out, let's go ahead and let this drop a little and lift this out. Okay, let's see if this cable will come out at all. It doesn't seem to move at all. So that sucks because I don't think we can get this cable in right. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, anyways, we'll wait for the replacement screen and then I will finish this video then. See you guys then. Bye. Alright, not 100% sure where we left off, but we got a new replacement screen. Let's go ahead and open it up, and hopefully this one, the cable is actually long enough. Alright. Alright, let's go ahead and set that aside. Get the screen out of here. It's packaged the same way as the other one. Okay. Put it in a clear bag this time instead of a blue one. Not that it matters. Alright. Put this out of here. Okay. Set that stuff aside. Same thing, the hinges are folded down, so let's go ahead and open them up using the T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver. They didn't make the easy release tabs on this one. We're going to peel from underneath. Going to peel this out. Okay. Get that out. Get rid of that. This one has a little extra foam padding. The other one didn't have foam padding underneath each of these. Alright, let's go ahead and open this up. Get that out. Alright. Okay, let's see. Hopefully this one will actually reach, so we'll put this over the edge of the desk. All right, I'm gonna hold the cables up again with my fingers here. Get that into place. Let's go ahead and get the 6 hinge screws back in. We might have to redo the thread locker. Actually, I'll put 2 like this. All right. This one in. Again, we're just loosely fitting this first, because we do need to slowly, carefully close the screen. All right, so let's go ahead and slowly, carefully close the screen here. Good. Loosen this back up. Oh, it looks like this plastic thing they didn't put back on right, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Shoot. Okay, let's open this again. Man, so the quality control on these replacements are not too good. You can actually see this one, the cable, so it's upside down right now. We're gonna flip it over. This cable actually should reach more than enough. Okay, yep, this cable actually will reach for sure. All right, let's go ahead now and take these screws out again, because I want to make sure that plastic piece is properly secured. All right. This repair is taking longer than expected. Okay, let's move this out of the way. Let's see if we can somehow fix this. Actually, wait, no, it's fine. I'm confused. Okay, so I'm going to slide that in. Oh, I see. It wasn't aligned properly, so I had to move it, slide it over. This thing you can slide left and right. Okay, let's go ahead and get the thing back into place again. Get this battery out of the way. Okay, get that screw in. And get this screw in. Alright, let's carefully, slowly close it up again. Okay, looks good, lining up now. Alright, we're going to loosen these screws. Make sure all the parts here are perfectly aligned. Okay, and again, make sure that it's flush. Make sure the edges are good. Make sure it's not crooked. Okay, there we go. We can go ahead now and tighten this down. Good, tighten this down. Good. This thing, if you want, you can move it a little to align it if it's a little bit out of alignment. All right, let's go ahead now and put the red thread locker again. Just gonna put a little here. All right, get that screw in. Good. All right, let's go ahead and do this side, because the other one we're gonna need to put those other things back in. Let's zoom in a bit. Okay. Get that screw in. Sorry, we're doing like a repeat, but the original screen was bad. I kind of just want to show what sometimes we have to go through this kind of thing when repairing things. All right, good. Let's go ahead and take this screw back out. All right, let's have the thread locker on there. Okay, good. All right, now we need to get the antenna thing back under, so let's take this screw back out. All right, now we're gonna get it lined up. Get one screw in. Let's make sure it goes underneath first since it's not wanting to. Come on. I gotta lift this back up. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna loosely fit that first. Let's go ahead and get a thread locker on it. Okay, get this screw in. Good. Take this one back out. And we'll get the thread locker on there. Okay. Get that screw into place. There we go. Take this one back out. Alright, thread locker back on there. Alright, we're done with the thread locker. Actually clean the tip off so it doesn't get stuff everywhere. Okay. Good to go. Close that up. All right, let's flip this over. Let's get these things connected in. Actually, we're not going to flip it yet because actually will it be easier this way? Okay, let's zoom in. Again, you want to make sure that the pins are facing up. So let's see, should we twist it this way or the other way? This way works better. Okay, then we're going to get this connector back in, line it up. Okay, pull that together and then put the latch down. All right, there we go. Next, we're gonna go ahead and get this, oops, sorry. We're gonna get the, I zoomed in too much. We're gonna get the eyesight or webcam camera cable into place. So this goes and tucks back under into that slot. Then we go ahead and pull this over, okay. And again, we're gonna have the gold pins facing up. Line that up into place. I'm going to switch over to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver now. And we're going to use this to help push this in. You can use a little plastic tool as well if you're worried about accidentally damaging the board. Okay, so it'll be safer. Alright, so tuck that cable all down there. Okay, it doesn't actually go underneath anything. It's just in this following the speaker here. Alright, we can go ahead and plug this back in. Pinch the two together, just like that. Now you have both sets of cables there. Okay, we're going to take the screw that we took out from here. Make sure you're pushing this whole board against the side that way. And let's go ahead and get that screw in. Alright, perfect. Then we're going to go ahead and take the fan. We're going to get this in. Make sure that latch is flipped up from before. Okay. And then we're going to slide this in underneath the rubber. Get that in. Okay, make sure this lines up. Can be a little bit tricky. Come on. Oh, this cable's a little bit in the way, so I'm going to take this out first. Okay, there we go. Alright, line it up. There we go. You'll know it's lined up when it's kind of going in. Then you can go ahead and push that down to get the rest. Slide your finger over the latch. You don't want to use a tool to kind of pull at it. All right, and let's go ahead and get the 3 fan screws back in. My screws got moved around. All right, so I'm pretty sure this one goes here. This one here. And then the last one here. There we go. Then we're going to hold this into place, tighten all 3 screws. I just loosely fit them first. Okay. There we go. We're going to get this lined up. Good. And pinch that back in. All right. Perfect. Don't forget this flat ribbon cable here. Just get it lined up. All right. Click that down and click that down. You want to make sure that it's not that it's lined up before you push it down. If it's not, you can actually damage this, so be very careful. Right, now we're going to go ahead and route the wireless antennas back in. Hopefully the wireless antennas aren't short or anything. We're going to switch back over to the T8 to make it a little bit better for pushing this cable into place. You don't want to accidentally damage the cables while tucking it down. Okay, we got to pull this rubber piece up. It helps to kind of go and do one side first, so let's go ahead and get this in. All right, and it also helps to use like two tools. So you can use one to kind of push it, and then while you're holding it in, you can kind of lift this up, and it helps it get underneath the rubber piece, just like that. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and get this side in as well. Same thing. Kind of push it from both sides here, like this. And then you can kind of pull the rubber thing up to get it underneath. There we go. Now I'm going to use the T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver to help push this into the little gap here. Okay, there we go. And then we bend this to go around that post. Right, some of it's not seeming to want to go in right, so we got to kind of maneuver it. Why doesn't it want to go in right? I'm going to use this flat tool to help. I have to pull it out a tiny bit. Alright, and tuck that all in. Good. Now we're going to continue working our way down. Somebody just like knocked something over in the front of my house. I don't know. Maybe they dropped off a package or just tossed it. Right, so we'll get this and tuck this around this post as well. Okay, and let's go ahead now and get these two cables plugged in. Alright, so switching back to the T5 Torx 5 screwdriver, but we don't need it yet, just for the battery. Let's go ahead and plug this in first. So we got this short cable here. Get that lined up. You want to make sure it's lined up before you push it down. The way you know is if you try and move it around on top, it will actually stay in place. Then you can go ahead and click it in. There we go. Okay, get the longer one. Make sure it's lined up. It's twisted a bit, so I got to twist it around a little. Okay, make sure that's lined up. There we go, and click that in. Alright, so now we got the wireless antennas and everything plugged in. Last thing to do is get the battery back in here and power it up and see how it goes. Alright, so we got the MacBook here. Zoom back in a bit. Okay. Let's grab the battery and the cover here. Alright, so battery, line it up. We're going to hold underneath the battery first so that we can get this connected in properly. There we go, pinch that together. Now we can go ahead and drop the battery into place. And then we'll take the T5 Torx 5 screws, get those back in. Okay, that one there, this one here. Alright, this one here. And the last two in the bottom corners. One here. And one down here. Alright, there we go. Let's put this back on. Make sure these pieces sit properly. Good. Click that back into place. It clicks into the middle of the battery. Let's go ahead and power it up. I like to do a PRAM and SMC reset after any major hardware components. So Control Option Shift on the left side, power button, that's an SMC reset. Give it a few seconds. If you had the charger plugged in and it was orange, when you do this, it'll go green and then back to orange. That's how you know you did it properly. Let's go ahead and do a PRAM reset now. Power it on, Command Option P and R. All right, assuming it's booting up. I don't know if the battery's low on charge or if I have to plug it back in. There we go. Okay, I heard the chime. I see the screen lighting up. We'll keep holding it. I saw the screen flash off. So we should be good. You can, once it shuts off, you can let go. and then you can wait till it starts up again. If you don't see the screen shut off, you can just keep holding it until you hear the second chime, and then you can let go and you should be good. Right, so right now the screen is just black, but it is slightly lit up. Can't really see it well in the camera, but let's see. Okay, so here you see the screen is on, so we should be good. Let's go ahead and peel this off. All right, and that should be it. We just got to get the bottom screws back in. Oh, I think my other customer's here, so give me a second, I'll be back. Yep, my customer's here, so let me go ahead and close this up. It's still booting, as you can see. I see the mouse. Oh, here we go, it's booted up. Okay, so it booted up all the way. You can actually see the color. I'm just going to shut it down now and put back the screws, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. I switched over to the P5 or Pentalobe 1.2, but yeah, let's get all these screws back in. If this video helped you out, make sure to also consider contributing a little to the channel, because that'll help me continue making these videos for a living. Other than that, you're welcome to stay as I put back the rest of the screws, but I'm pretty much done, so yeah. Alright, let's get all these screws back in. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.